So my case, it's one of those cases which you are really forced to do and you really don't want to do. And decisions you take are just to bring yourself out of this case. So this was a 72-year-old gentleman with multiple risk factors: diabetes, hypertension, reformed smoker, COPD, multiple transient skin attacks in the past, severe disorder was doubtful, and severe depression. He had recurrent hospital admissions with heart failure and chest pain. ECG had a rate-dependent left bulbar block. In this current admission, his troponins were high and BNP was 1100. Echo showed severe LV systolic dysfunction, severe mitral regurgitation and tricuspid regurgitation, severe PH. And we kept him in CCU for a couple of days to stabilize him. This was the echo which shows a severe mitral regurgitation, a severely hypokinetic LAD, and the RC territory. After stabilizing him, we got him to cath lab. The LVDP was still 50 and peer pressures were high. So this was we just took 2-3 shots. So the RCA showed it was a heavily calcified artery with a proximal 80% lesion and another distal lesion in this tortuous vessel. The LAD shots showed, the left shots showed a tight ostial left main and a heavily calcified proximal and mid LAD. And you can see a distal lesion in circumflex also. So with this given hemodynamics, we got him out of cath lab, continued with medical earth therapy optimization, and then subjected him to a viability scan which showed a partially scarred myocardium and LV territory and scarred mid and basal inferior wall. So we had a discussion with surgeons who obviously refused this case. With the result, we had to take him to cath lab for a procedure, and we decided to do the left main and LAD followed by proximal RCA if the patient was stable. So this allocaudal shows we took a GL4 7 French guide, intra-aortic balloon pump was placed up front and a pacing lead kept just because it was a left main. So the ostial left main is heavily calcified and tight, and you see a very diffusely diseased LAD. We took a 1.25 burr, and it was very difficult initially to cross the left main ostium. The guide could not be encaged because of a tight lesion at left main ostium. It was hanging outside. So left main ostium was very heavily calcified, followed by LAD, ostium, and then the mid LAD. And it took me almost 5.5 minutes of burring to get through this lesion. Every time the patient was going into hypotension, and the hemodynamics were not at all good for us. So as we were burring with 1.25, the initial plan was to upstep the burr after getting through this initial rota burr. But because of difficulties of guide engagement and extremely difficulty in maintaining the rota wire position, I decided to try a 2O balloon first, and it just slipped through the calcific zone, and we could achieve a reasonable dilatation with a 2O and a 2.5 balloon. So I thought probably I had done a good job, and I took a stent for the mid LAD lesion. So this was after doing a 2.5 balloon. We see there's a dissection at the ballooning site, and then I took a 2.75 balloon just to be very sure. There was a small waste in the 2.75 at one point, which I thought was okay. So I deployed the distal stent 2.524 in the LAD, and then this was the situation. So right at the proximal end of stent, you see that the calcium is actually holding the proximal struts of stent. But I had already done dilatation with 2.75. So I decided to proceed further. There's a dissection at the proximal end of stent, which was patched up with the second stent. This was the problem which I face now. So there are two stents, and you see that just at the overlap site, there is heavy calcium which is not actually giving way. So I finished the procedure initially with flextome in the left main ostium, stented the left main, and then came back to the mid LAD. Dilated with this sequentially with the 2.75 NC and a 3O at very high pressures. But I was not very happy with this mid zone, you can see there. So the problem here was, what better could have been done in this scenario? A patient who has been refused by surgeons because of his comorbidities, the calcification is very heavy, and as we all know that the burrs available to us usually are 1.25 and 1.5. I had a reasonable dilatation with a 2.5 balloon, which was the reason for my taking a stent inside. This is the main catch in this case, that how to proceed in this situation where you have already dilated with a reasonable dilatation with a 2.5 balloon. and still the lesions fail to open. So, should you deny such cases, or probably a 1.5 burr should have been tried initially? Do I was to see the exact cases? And what are the options now after you have a not well expanded stent? Restent with a stainless steel stent, use excimer laser, bring back for stent ablation after some time, or of course the last option is to send the patient for CABG. This was the reason to present this case. Thanks.